it seems that you cannot ask things to people, and it's just following a trend and a conversation. Is it really going to be justified that we have peace in the world? What does it take to have peace? To give from yourself, cut a piece of land, accept those who trespass. Sometimes thinking about the misinformation through history and the traumas that have been carried throughout the collective against other historical moments where other countries or cultures made a part. So if the last chapter was World War II, what happened there? That Russia did not evolve, and they hold this horrible, horrible trauma to have killed so many people. I think they have not done any healing through their arts or forms of expression to introspect how many people have been murdered, and the ghost that runs through this system of having to be quiet and allow others to die as if they are superior to earn from the death of others. Some go to war honoring their country, some would fight for their country, and some would just emigrate and don't fight at all, like most Venezuelans that have no interest in having this type of conversations because the whole country has been through an internal crisis. Sometimes change is needed because the high class is too corrupted. And how can it be that in a country that has so much money and petrol have its people so poor? Presidency after presidency. I'm talking about the history of Venezuela. And when people talk about Venezuela receiving a Nobel Prize, and they are just like, moving their hands to acquire all this money and power. Nobody's trained to be a president. Once you get there, you learn. For everyone, there is no degree of becoming a president. You can read many books of leadership and see many movies, read history, learn from secret books that are only hidden for a few, where you must seek in within its own library or address, or that have been communicated through certain people. And you have grown seeing these patterns from childhood as well, from one side or the other, disregarding what runs through as a wall, because you feel spiritually connected as well as part of the wall. And what happens if you feel the wall as those who are in need to have, through the material world as well, rejoice and health. So we question ourselves every Christmas and season if we are being generous because of interest, because it's our children, or what is it beyond our nose or front line that's bothering or is needed. That which is love that dominates throughout. And it manifests through all its people, no matter how many wars it had or how many times has been killed to be born again through these meanings throughout our children, grandchildren, or even if it's one left or two, to prevail. It's our legacy as well to care every year, and we love to gather together here and there, from near, from far away. You might find discomfort, might need more. In your mind, you might think that's to help more. To have more is to administrate for more. There are so many types of gathering. Once you have touch to remember how we have been born, the frequency of love can also become an ego trip of being so good. So you like to learn from the darkness how people love twisted stories, the hidden or forbidden. I myself has wished to understand all of that in first person and see it, to transform from there as well, like a spy that is among sinners as a sinner, but secretly is not. To see what happens, understanding in first person. It's not a lie, but you're part of the story. And they see the difference. But that nightmare I had with Erica Kirk, it was very deep. It was very deep, and I really wish to be by her side. And she could manage herself alone very well. She had problems seeing the truth. There were many disassociations, and for a moment I thought Who is making her this way? What is going on? Is this her mind, or and people were letting her? But nobody really cared for her. But she thought she could manage herself alone. And I myself has a disorder here, but the dream was like a sort of like a nightmare. And she was so beautiful, and I was still try to make sense. There are many cases that sometimes remain a mystery, and just to be there, just to be there, just just to be there. Um, when my father was murdered, my mother asked to be alone because she needed to process that alone. And she was going through a maddening state. Maddening in the sense, it's been a murder, man of your life. Care more than anyone. She would say that my father was the person that loved her most in her life and cared more than anyone. And she had 2 children with him. And she had to see the blood in the country house in Venezuela in order to clean it. And so on, so far. She had to it was a murder and a maddening situation are linked through our psychological emotion. I know that very well, and I do not wish anyone to judge her, but support her to see the truth with respect, with whatever the truth is that we share throughout evidence and reason. Or why is the truth of a trial being denied to the people? So this is an exercise of intelligence to trust in power, because we have the power to look up to the powers we deserve to have, because we love our authorities, we love those above, we trust in them, we are honored, and they reflect our inner authority as well, and make us feel profoundly united. So it hurts me. It hurts me with devotion to just eat it up, eat the negativity if I could free from this madness where I also exist. in my own creation. So we bring the genius. They go hand by hand as well. The genius is not a messiah or a savior, but it might drive you to a new solution or a new creation, a finding, perhaps. These are tendencies that humanity asks because we have a material world that also feels biologically and is connected and rooted to the soil, to the nuclear cortex of this earth, as in this universe that we share with the sun, as a family and co-workers. What is left from you when you've been left with your beloved murdered? Is it to bring a martyr and victimization and glory? Because that's why you stand together, like as the Arabs wish to make martyrs their people when they attacked Israel. And they will deny it, of course. But don't we feel human when we see what people do and how the most vulnerable suffer? Do you really need to feel that this is the life that we have left? And how are you going to spend it? Some people will never accept money. So quickly. It's confusing. It's dramatic. The system needs to be destroyed. Will continue. If it's not this administration, the next, and the next, and the next, in their ways. You can't destroy the people and have the people living like this, with wars and threats and murders, just to keep your place or take another person's place, or oil. Or the other one did, and the other one. So you must become a better thief and murderer. If possible, have license to kill from far away. Or let others organize it for you. Your allies. You need all your allies. And the claim for justice seems to never end. And from the files of Epstein, let's just give them pictures of with adult women, or let's just give them crumble so they entertain themselves. They can do nothing with it. We need more evidence. All this is to redirect a wound that needs healing, to recognize that whatever you do, this is repeating. So government doesn't need to create more drama to be trusted by the people, so they protect them. It's like those men that want to protect you, but at the same time want to abuse you at the same time. So it is the underline of many men to protect you and at the same time run with the consequences. So you're there to serve them. In the ancient times, it worked because people could get killed by anything before the DNA and police investigation, detectives, and severe law to be found. Now cameras everywhere and phones. The spirituality has a pattern as well that is conduit to this energy, and the dancing and the celebrations and the wishes for others to manage as well. It doesn't matter you're a good person, if you make it there, you might have to do that to do good, but then on the expense of something is not needed anymore. Kings used to rule and presidents used to rule, but social media is ruling as well. The people is ruling as well. It's not for entertainment, really. The people desire balance through their lives. So there is a freedom that is shared through your being and the entity you possess as a caregiver. It is a boring life without excitement to find out what's there. It is a boring life if you only love the nothingness. As the Holy Spirit would, just to love the spirit, the spiritual world, just above poverty. And more we see that through our abundance we can also love and bring light, not just through death. There's no need to sacrifice anyone for you to do good. Let people sing their prayers and be grateful for what they have, with what they can afford or achieve. To domesticate them or farm them. This is an intellectual war that wishes to span the spirit as well. In the front line, where people have a sense of power within the collective power, there is no universal salary on people above. People need their human interaction as much artificial intelligence could be to learn together and forward. So you know them by their names and what they program. If it took them so many years, the same can take for any continent to do their own, spiritually as well, especially. Their meaning of words, the meaning and value of the words is very powerful for every culture. So universality has something in common, like the air we breathe, but doesn't mean that every part of the earth is the same for its ground and rivers. You name it. So to father all the cultures together is to mother them, is to also be children, is also to be sisters and brothers. If you don't have respect for life, how can you die in peace? You are in a situation that could be pressure. So to seek power outside is not respectful. We don't seek power within. That is very respectful. You see these words that come from the Latin, and you could also study Chinese, how they make their characters. I'm blessed to see people from around the world that come in the store, and they're so happy, and they tell me how it is. They speak to me about their family and or their girlfriend, and I continue to talk if they let me. If they have interests of their own, I tell them, and I can see they let me see them, and I enjoy to see them and draw a picture out of them with my words. And this is celebrating one another, strangers, and your family and your culture, where you were born, or your kingdom, where you were born, where you were raised, you felt. You can't forget. So it passes throughout the generations as well. If I suffer, would I want my children to suffer, or their next generations? What is it that I am doing wrong, that I belong to not having the best relationship to nourish my children with, not just socially or economic, but relationally, not just to rationalize food and money, but in the order of relation. So it hurts me as a woman. Um, it hurts me to see another woman. It's not about money. You can have so much money. It's not about being famous or liked. It's It's much more deeper. It's much more deeper. It wounds me. Is a wound that I carry myself. As a woman and a mother as well, trying to find support, but it's on every level, not just through your genius idea and breaking the protocol, because there is been no protocol for women before, unless you follow certain rules within the world that these generations of men have done. But in ancient cultures, women have had their power as well, and respect. How can it be that we cannot understand each other? Until what level is it gonna repeat? So, or we undo this and clear the cookies. It's a lot of work, but it's prevention for the future. You can see for those who need you. The greatest people in this world can unite to see those who need you. You can prosper so much by trusting your brothers and sisters. What is it that you can take care of? Especially because you have so much to share, spiritually and lovingly as well, that produces joy. Do not have to fight as enemies all the time, constantly. So, is it correct? Paradise is the feeling of perfection. Hey, so you can't have a war in paradise. This is not paradise, then. You can be in that state, and perhaps everyone is fighting, and you are just like, oh well, you're in your own state of mind, and you can go wild and show your power if you must. We are destroying this earth with so much paper. Every Christmas creates so much junk. If we have something that can last forever, or is it going to become rubbish in 20 years? Just short span of life and low quality. Or is it just going to be something that brings meaning to your life? Would you take it to outer space? Would you have it in your next life? Or this is the only life you want, really? You don't want to change anything. You want to add and you want to share because it's good enough. You just want to love and be loved, to love, because you cannot love as much as people will let you love. You can be in a state of eternal love. You can love through anger. The Asian masters could kill a disciple with profound love, so they die with enlightenment and they learn their lesson. So when they are reborn, they already are being rebirthed with a glimpse of enlightenment they die with. They were very aggressive. The Zen masters, not all, but quite the culture. We wonder what's consciousness. Why people don't have this consciousness. Why a collective would be happy that others are dying and they're gonna win. Most of Russian people are happy to win and see others die. There's no country in the world that likes that I know. Maybe the Jews, but that's history there. On and on and on and on and on. But love is something so integrated that you keep working to achieve that memory that grows in you. It could be through the word and the power of a word of gold, or through art. You can't stop when love is eternal. You can create or not create. See the creation itself. After you have created it, how it rolls, how it has its own life. Aspires to find meaning by itself. It keeps you there, loving the creation. And still you return. If you could change something, what would it be? I wish no one is sacrificed. There is no need to sacrifice oneself or anyone, or to do the monkey see, monkey do. There is no person that has that affinity if you're giving the freedom. Like Tucker Carlson said, I'm in the Middle East. I am a free man. I'm an American man and a free man. I can do what I want. Yes, you go, sir. It was beautiful, the Middle East. I would love to go to Africa as well. I want to send a message of rightfulness, a message that's a prayer. So it continues. I'm looking at the calendar, so there is maybe 18 days until next year. And 11 or so for Christmas. You want to be free without having to have the expense of too much waste, spending too much energy to gain something. And that, which is effortless, is the best answer, at least to a degree of results throughout the way, and its result as a whole. And that's the form we set ourselves when we're going to create. More or less, you have the picture before settling yourself to create. You have a notion, you have a cognitive order to know in one way or another that you need to do a bridge from here to there, and then you just figure out everything that is needed, or as a puzzle in a storyline, or the part that needs that love to be granted through as the passage that is not just for you but for many to develop themselves and choose. So we are all speaking in prayer sometimes, just consuming and having fun, to forget, to entertain people, to make noise so they don't realize, so they don't see, only this and that. And so where is it navigating from madness to illusion to forming something you really want to believe? We like to know, we like to be in control, to know what we're doing, but at the same time, what if we are wrong? What if doing nothing is allowing one more year, 3 more years of the same? How can you forgive someone that is so difficult? And in the same time, everyone, when you turn sides, they turn sides, they turn sides. Everyone is meant to flip yes, yes, no, yes, no. So the universal love and a percentage of this universal value is essential for everyone to look at the same time as we can afford it. And that's the liberation we need to expand with, where it finds, to me, and through what I feel in others, it finds relief and an expansion that's beyond measure in the eyes of God through everyone, having the eyes of God. So you trust that form of intelligence as well. That's not just an artificial intelligence or American intelligence, but African intelligence, and South American, Canadian, European, you name them, up until the stars, Australian, Egyptian, Arabic. Egypt was something before the Arabs came, and so on so far, with blending cultures as well. But there is love through all That it's nice to see a lady that is showing her face and is not covering her face, and that she feels happy and she is not being judged by showing her face, and that she's pretty and she's not judged. She's welcome and beautiful and respected, and her husband supports her as well out of their country to love each other and their future. That they're here, and maybe their country will be better one day for them, men and women. What will it take for my country to be in peace as well with one another? It's very easy to think that I am right without the other side, and that the other side thinks they're right. We can have a lot to learn to be dyslexic and exercise the dyslexic part of our mind we all have, but it's a bit numb for the majority. I think these are times for dyslexic forms of thinking overall, if you really want to manage and care for all within your capacity, as you can perceive. So the better you are perceiving before ordering, there is a dysfunction there. If you cannot perceive well, how can you order? You need that affinity with all of yours and others. What would happen if I change the story? Am I on the same page with others? I am. Introducing something for my people, you would say, that's familiar for those who are around me. And I trust in them. We have a communion. You might wish to paint and be creative forever. But you also love the people, your family, the strangers, the animals. You will love to love more when you love so much. What would you do to love more? You would think widely ahead. And who is there that's inside your mind and shares this vision? Sometimes you find people that seem to be inside your mind, and you can relate with this information because that's how you love to be. So the only way to stop emigration is by having mercy to those countries in need, and listen to what's going on the other side. A technological map can help that as well. So they are wealthier and we can have more space as well in places that are not just deserted but abandoned and need attention. The North Pole and the South Pole. What is this world about? Are you really being funny? Because it's what people are talking about. What is the reality of the environment? As we speak, is an energy field that needs to be questioned still, on and on. And to respect that someone will have the power to do so as well. As within our multiplicity, to let it multiply and synchronize at the same time, flowingly. You will pray, you will pray to see your enemy. You will pray to see if you want to feed the sickness. So each country is learning to change its own from one stream to the other. From so much wealth and education and culture to the jungles, to the wilderness and the uncivilized. There are wonders there as well, and danger. So it's good to respect those leaders there, to trust they can manage better with our support. But only a technological system will show that's impossible to corrupt it. You see corruption in many people and will forgive, like if it's funny. Because no one notice. And if you find a team where people can steal together, and there are so many horrors anyways, and who cares? You are proving that corruption is applaudable. Or maybe that is a form of sadism to make people suffer while you are above. You enjoy their suffering through your suffering as well. Apart. And is shared. So the joy, is that the joy? Children become boring. Just on our childlike form. When everything fades away with old age, very old age. So that's that very child again that was full of spirit and now is getting ready to go with the only spirit, not to burn the material, but the material is burning away from the spirit in old age. Slowly, you will wish to live forever or longer. So it's been questioned to die in one way or another, longer, younger, with enlightenment for a long life, or enlightened enough because you can't maintain your body while you're enlightened. You're too high naturally, so you cannot think of material problems. What people do to have money is incredible. You really have to see what people do for money, what people are capable to do, to look in a certain way, what people do with the material. So you're giving your soul away for the material. When people give their soul to the devil, sometimes it's to create a musical masterpiece. So they're just in touch with the what's been known as everlasting masterpiece that's immortal, as the spirit is of the divine. That could be evil if you only relate with the dead, to manipulate or try to. But people are people, alive or death, whatever it is, it's the same. You might look into the spirit of people that are very spiritually poor. So why would you want to have millions and millions of people that need their own intelligence and freedom to create and discover, to be and let go, and take or have command and share a sailing boat while the other takes charge. You, as I, might bring a memory that is to be erased because it has not been worth it and it would have to be wiped off because the very system has been created with rotten ideas, rotten memories, rotten wars that have no other room but to keep fighting. And the little one loses. And the conquest to win is for more, whatever it is, even for the spiritual. That can also be an ego through our religion. You can have all the ideas and answers to people, but if they don't see it themselves, what is the problem then? People have not been used to face problems, but to run, play dead, gaslight themselves as nothing is happening. But if you have power over it to respond accordingly without the need to fight, to create something new, unique from your own, it's normal in the Christian world to be that free, and you still see the world at large because they have created so far so much and so different that is rich beyond your comprehension, that makes you humble to rejoice with others as well and accept that you're not the only one. People have dreams also. Gets to a point where one doesn't have any more dreams or desires. And sometimes it's so cold that only God knows what you miss from a poverty that you have been for so long, because it's been denied, but the way civilization has been made for so long, like the meek horses who are born in stables, life after life. You've been denied of your freedom for so long, thinking that right is your freedom. And what is freedom? To do as you want? If you have the power to lie, to hack, and steal, because you have the power, and you think you're superior to program others. Or have you really role play without programming? That is a spiritual concept as well, that's technically designed by its movement as well. It's science. And it propels the understanding of how we are. Not just for ourselves or one on one. I wish I would not eat ever again. Sometimes I feel like I am just a spirit. I've gone through so much poverty 10 years ago that I lost my appetite. The brain is very wise to protect you from suffering and will make you lose your appetite so you don't suffer for food. And maybe you start listening to your intestines. Sometimes you could smell the food and your stomach talks by itself. Your saliva drops. It's when you watch someone that you loved to kiss again. But you can have so many heartbreaks that it can be acceptable. I was taught to love non-stop without a heartbreak. And yet there is death when that form of life you shared disappeared. It's not part of your life anymore. There have been conditions there that have been unavoidable. It's not that you're powerless to maintain this love, but there are other people around, and their spaces and values out of your reach to love. It doesn't matter what you do, the love turns distant, and that, once again, just spiritual within the psyche and by parts disintegrating throughout memories that time would forget. So it does throughout history for new life to be formed and new beings. For those who are protected, sharing their values and their families and their houses and their health, because they have not run through traumas or sociological traumas that come from ancestors as well, from wars of other countries and takeovers. What if you just want slaves and immigrants to work for you to make your country better? Of course, it's better to denigrate another culture, to take over eventually, as it's been programmed. And nobody's going to say anything. If the United States of America steals the petrol of Venezuela, so this is an example that there is no law to stop someone that is so desireful to take over. And everyone is more or less like that without asking first. And having the best decision for all. That's possible. But investors are pushing against others as well, fighting oil against green energy in their systems of belief. So we are living throughout the possibility of having so much joy, celebration, and multiplication as war and the continuum of traumas that make you feel so superior. Sitting on that pain that you think to control. It's never going to heal the more you take. The more you eat, the more sex you have, the more colors you can obtain. For an artist, you need a certain degree of abundance to start a piece. You need a certain amount of abundance to create. You cannot just create like that. As a creator, yes, you can paint with petals, you can paint like a machine. What is that spark? Before the sound of the spark. It can take hours, it can take years before it detonates in an inner explosion of generating so much abundance through others within this program. For those who love to create and celebrate and trust in others, to embrace trust, to return that trust, which is credit. This is why in Greek mythology, that's also from the Latin, Charon, the ferryman, is called the god of taxes, the god of greed. But you see Hades is the underworld where precious stones are found and gold and mysteries as well. So you can pray to God, move towards the light, but at the same time you want to expand and move into unknown spaces that are of yours to conquer, to create on your own. So the planets do with the sun expanding their orbits, and the moons with their planets, and children with their families. As we grow older, from last breath to last breath, are we living with totality and intensity as if it is a last breath. So those artists who seek a masterpiece, they seek to make a masterpiece that gives a last breath when you look at it, of immortal beauty. People that are beautiful and are not protected are harmed by many as women, children, and the beauty of the elderly, which are closest to death and is a beauty that is immortal because they are closer to that space naturally. When I see my mother, I see all the joy she has. And she had through all her life, and she had provided. How can we love differently from that? From so much opulence and generosity, and they murder the father of your children and flip to the other side. As an adult, to see my mother in ways I've never seen before. This can happen to every polarity that you have. And sometimes it takes a village. Like in Windsor, all the people that help the homeless. Takes a village. So I don't know if these expressions exist in other cultures that are just focused on their own enlightenment. The monks become police. There's so many cultures, so many plants, so many biological beings in this planet. If you go to another galaxy, another part in the universe, somewhere, you might not be able to see the aliens because we might not have the vision to understand they were there. Or why? Is there a memory for you to remember? Or is it illegal to talk from this memory? Why are you lying to yourself in this plane? Because it is a shared reality in this world. So we touch through many fields and many realities. How can you love one person and also love the other? How can you love certain people more? Because they share with you a deeper religious activity or spiritual. Or they share your wealth and your cheers without shame or without impediments. That you will love to cheer together forever and remember each other for the goodness that you cheered for. So it is in Olympus known to keep the cheers, the cheering, and you have the goddess that precisely has that job to pour the ambrosia in the cup later on. It's been depicted as it's been from before in mythology of the Nordics, with the provider of apples from the apple tree that nourishes the gods to be immortal, to be young. It's just been translated and copied. The Greeks have copied from the Egyptians As the Italians from the Greeks, because the philosophers were running away from Greece because they got too corrupted and tyrannical. So, how can you have leaders that have not studied the breaks of empires as royalty does? Because royalty teaches their children from a young age to avoid that or end up executed by the guillotine, as in France. What happened? What happened around the world? The people can get so extreme just with the new presidency as well, or a new dictatorship from Russia to kill more of their people and others as well. What is this love affair with death that some people can't get with their own spiritual work? Of course, Germany doesn't want to give money for a war. Germany is the last country on earth that wants war after what they went through. If you're aware, if you're conscious, you would never do that. You will find better ways. You would introduce to the Russian people and detonate from all around. So it happens simultaneously against their leadership, while it destroys at the same time, activating it from every level and possibility at the same time. Well, prepare and program ahead as we are living consciously for life, for freedom, for the values that we love each other, for that's regal and beautiful between our highest and our lowest. That yes, people are still people, and you can also feel that as well beyond your will. You get affected by people, by a society, by your wife, by your husband, by your mother, by your murdered father or husband. You've changed for that which surrounded you. So programmers and many people think that's what you say, that you manifest. But I am not in that level of mental desires, wanna rival, wanna be admired, wanna have more. When you do meditations, you make an effort to cross over and stand still for longer. How much more can you jump till there is no more you? It breaks your psychological patterns to see beyond at the same time without wanting to see because there is no ambition to see. Makes no sense to see unless you wish to see with others what you see. Why would you want to see something that is not to share? If you love a man, you will love to share a new form of creation. That's love making. That's another life. That's something you do together. If you want to jump like a butterfly through the eternity of flowers in a garden, or a bee, you like to be alone and salivate and burn within and find that's nothing better than that. There is no drug that can be compared to something that your chemistry is producing naturally to achieve its highest. It has chemistry. But God is not a science of the spiritual realms. It's not a science. It's a happening. You are and there is a question of you are. Many children need toys, and children need to learn, and parents define their future by their actions. And the questions left behind, you continue the poetry as well. You continue the mystery as well. You continue the lessons that have been left to teach in adulthood. When your child has matured, they start to see the mystery you've put in them. They remember in the future. Some of us have this type of parents. They taught you lessons. You've opened your eyes as an adult to understand that it's what they meant. Not just through adult content, but through spirituality and your work and how your brain is formed, how you think differently. And how your relations through life matter as well. There are sadhus who gather or exist near an old tree. I don't know how many years, but they are ancient trees. And that is too valuable and mysterious to look for them, even to be afraid to find them in the middle of nowhere. They might be hiding. You feel you're being watched, but it's only jungle, and you know they've been there. You found the tree. that happening remains there. And we're so attached to our way of being, what links us to the problems in the village. I heard my husband say those problems are for the village, not here in the hill. There are no problems of those in here. So I was thinking of his grandfather, where he would build cabins in Canada and go fishing with the Native Americans. He would tell me stories of his ancestors, how they came to Canada from Europe to find their land. They would have their own land, the dream, their sense of property. Many people forgot in America the meaning. So I'm here to share that sense of property, how we happen to be here with the new world as well, as it has been discovered recently. And we can see it better after 500 years that's around it. We can see it so much that people can see it from outer space. Would you see all the children that are really hungry? And the children that don't have their parents near? You would see how much abundance there is in this world. Why is it not getting through everyone? What is it happening? How could you do to love more, with more sense of property, so others can do it themselves as well? So you end up praying more and thanking for everything that's been given to you to have seen so far, by the abundance of others as well around you. It would have been impossible. So in this last decade I had to live through austerity. I gave my bow of poverty from before that decade to I have no interest in riches. I see them and enjoy them for others, and I will respectfully dress for the environment I am with. I will always remember in India that to be happy I would just need very little, to think less. Two lungis and just one set of clothes to travel with in India. You know, many people are happy as they are and they don't suffer. because they lost their appetite, or they born without appetite. It doesn't mean it's correct. The absence of joy, you can't fulfill a partner or family if you are out there. But this generation can merge the material world and the spiritual world together. It does not have to be divided. The poor can be spiritual, and the monastery have spirituality, and the people of the village not, and the material as well. As we consume consciously, with the right to do so, because it's been castrated from us to enjoy. From the word voluptus of the Latin, that means the joy through the senses, and it might have been erased from your dictionary as well, as it's been erased from our diction to never say it, because we have been punished to enjoy. So how can we call the name joy when it's very limited as to call it what it used to be? On the senses through the pleasure. All the senses through the pleasure, and all that is informational and connectivity through our skin, our eyes, our neurons, our interactions, our words, our colors, is based on the creativity and the joy and the creation that runs through us. From first breath of birthing to the last. So I want my kingdom to love me, but I want to provide to my kingdom what I will love my kingdom to provide itself. That's how every leader or mother and father would think to be. You can't do that on an age where multimedia is at war by any opposite on every turn you would do to say yes and no for the first time in history, for any reason, because there are more parts neglected than ever before, because no one is in charge. When the law is in charge, everything is in charge. People think accordingly to the law. But if the law is not in charge, then everyone can steal. They will start to think illegally as well. Because if you can do that, then others can. They will feel rightful to do so. And that has happened throughout history, of course. You need a good reason to do it, right? And then what? You think to be better than others when you are sitting in that chair of power and say yes to everyone and take the credit. Make them feel they're special as well because they support you and they share that speciality. You can see the great hypocrisy there when they start to agglomerate in rings of power. So you can have a group of people driving many to misery and death because they are not thinking for others. And that's not very spiritual to be in front of screens. Saying the truth all the time can be annoying. I think saying it one time should be enough, right? Among adults as well. You work with kids if you're good at it. So I don't want to draw a beautiful picture for you to think this is the answer. It's up to your senses to see it. You are seeing the same as I do. There is nothing beyond that you are going to get, that you're going to get ahead before others that we have not seen. The others will get it too. Eventually. It's good to be with the people you love. You don't have to love everyone or be a hypocrite to everyone because you want to win over those who came to share something for you to see it and feel it and understand. It's very easy. It's very easy to think that you can do it alone and cheat. Anyways, it's fun, right? They're gonna cover you because you have that position. Like, think yourself. Think of this president. Think of his mother. Think of this father. Think of the toddler. Think as think for others. It's not empathy or common sense. No machine would get that. If there's information's not being coded or being scripted anywhere. That love intelligence. To do the same thing again. So if you've done everything, if you've been a good person, you will want to be crazy or a villain. And it shows in people that have not understood darkness, that need to convert. They have not learned to transform, to understand darkness, to remember. Is natural and innate in some people, I see. Many people will be willing to steal until the company or the family is out to destroy. Don't matter they lose their job or their houses. It's a collective delusion that you create with you and your own. It's not a prayer towards leaving a question as a mystery for other generations to do, because you already know what you are doing and what is for the next. But if you don't do this, this is what is going to happen to the next generation. If I want my children to be safe, and prosperous, they would never be gaslighted. Not by me, not by anyone. From an early age. Because children live in a bubble of everything is good. And then when the bubble pops, it doesn't pop, it pops. That's it. Another reality. And so on, so far throughout many realities, the more you move. So the leaders in the future will be defined by their societies and learning from others as well what is better for them, their own. That it's impossible to live without love or without spirituality, without love that has spirituality and spirituality that has love. So what is the cause to come with the body here? Because I am a scientist, because I am an engineer, and I only think in facts and numbers and programmings and codes, and that's how science works. Well, then don't try to discover what you want to gaslight yourself with, to convey. What is the world with robots if you don't have love? What are they going to learn? And your children, what is the meaning of being alive after every word that we share and before, and how we handle our values? That's something to die for, because there is no worse punishment for a child than to talk half an hour for a child and explain them. It is a punishment having to listen to an adult talk to you for half an hour, and you will never do it again because you don't want to go through so much boredom. You want to play, you want to go outside, you want to discover this, you want to have fun. You will never do it again, more than being tortured with punish or violence or threatened or gaslighted or looked down or with shock therapy to learn. You will never want to listen to that boring discourse that's been told to you for half an hour. It's not passive aggression. You know very well what you're doing as an adult. But of course, that's from the educated. You have moments where you play as a kid with your kids and explore as scientists and travel together with prayers, maintaining the destiny of many. You can't recover someone that's been murdered. You can die in peace. The wishes of this person can become a ghost that might want to manipulate or see the outcome in its name. Unless there is peace, ghost after ghost, murder after murder, silence after silence said, hurt by the words you said. All others are the same. Is that all you have to say? Again and again and again. Is that all you have to do? Is this all I got to do? So the destiny of the world, the faith of the world, is in the hands of a few people. Not one. It is heavy to recognize that only a new answer can save you from not losing a war and becoming victorious, because you help the other one to be better and the other one also help you to be better. And if you're too good, just to relax. It's being too good. Can be empty. After you have touched perfection and cheered for so long, or had so much so far, and have made your name so many times has been, but some never made their name. So we are living in a generation when everyone has their minutes of fame if they need to or want to or have to. You cannot ask respect if you have not gained it. But when there is the possibility of auto destroying with the enemy through multiple sources until there is really no way to turn back, once it's had unleashed, there's no way back. You will really command for respect so there is not a car accident, you will be alert. Because it's getting off-handed. So when Putin was little, he wanted to play with the kids, but his father or stepfather didn't like that he was playing with other kids. So he was sent to his grandmother, and his mother had to do what her new husband, I think it was, the stepfather. So when Putin was a child, he lost his mother and the love of his mother because he wanted to play. It's very wounding. You were a child, and on those times, children would play together out of the house. But this man was selfish and he was tired. He didn't have much love to give to him as a father figure and to support him. He just wanted his mother. Took his mother away, and his mother had to obey. From very poor comings. There must have been so much poverty, you cannot have any other choice. Poor choices, I know that very well. There are no choices, no free will. He has become the co-stepfather that won't let the children play, enjoy their life. Or teach them better ways. He's having the attention to play from around the world, but it's not enough. It would be boring if he stops playing. He can be in control now. But what is his solution? Just a piece of land? So he talks from information he gets. And he may see Donald Trump having all this freedom of expression and still winning over. So they shake hands here, they shake hands there. You can play for better games, for better prayers as we leave this body. We are all committed that this is not going to continue as in the past. We can also destroy it or convert it. Because watching makes you feel part of it. People suffer when they watch other people die and in misery. This is not a pity play. It's a cruel reality. It's cruel watching rich people investing for their own people to be martyrs. So the world praises the martyrs and the victims. That was already set in the Middle East when I was there. That was the prognostic and the investment. So you can shake hands and get your money and your apartment and say yes to the influencers. But I don't know, I don't have the evidence. And talk with Elon Musk, yes, because that's how the cryptocurrency has been praying. Now they cannot say that they are decentralized because every memory has an address. So where the memory is being built, you want American intelligence, then go for it. North United States of North America. It's funny that people that don't know the world think to own the world. They don't know about technology and think to own technology. People that don't have a clue about going wider, they take for granted what's going wider. That is okay, all the good you do, for the evil you do is little. You are so great. So every leader is still thinking like this. Imagine if you have to have an alarm when you are over exceeding your reality. When you see it through a map, you won't need another person to tell you. You won't need to feel insulted by the reality that's being shared in the world, because you will see it with your eyes. There's no corruption that can walk through the wisdom of transparency. So why do you want transparency from someone that is transparent if you don't have transparency? Why are you asking? Does it make sense? Or you want to twist it for your behalf, as so many emperors in China had against their own masters. So you will find the duality of the spiritual leader and the material leader, which is the emperor normally. And the spiritual leader is not of a country, but of the history of that culture, which is an empire itself as well. And both walk hand by hand like lovers, but it's the highest love from both being a master and a disciple to each other. Not every culture has succeeded to reach that climax. There's a few who still have those stories. There's Arthur and Merlin, and so on and so forth. It's one of the highest form of love, because the other one also has the wisdom, but it cannot execute it. It can only talk in the language of the people. So the other one is side by side. So the Pope or any clown of the village, which is sometimes it used to be provided by all the village. In some towns they call it the stupid person of the village. In other towns is the drunk of the village. In other towns is the master of the village. Is the shepherd of the village. Is the friend that is there unconditionally for everyone. And everyone provides or has become crazy or a drunk. Artists are so abused. We have abused our own power to the senses for a few. What is left for you to do if you don't know what is joy? You think to know that is joy. That people agree with you to have peace, it doesn't mean they respect you, but they respect the ability to form peace. But that is a peace that's your question. How could people just not respect me enough? Why do you want more? Where is it missing? You need to threaten again and hide one drama with another drama to gain more respect out of fear. So we can do theatrics forever. You would wish to be punished in a corner, in a dark room, and to be remembered as the spirit of Christmas would make a tour to the greedy guy, showing him all the misery that he has created. With others, of course. From the left to the right. And what is next? After you, that will follow. It's the same. The same. We are a wave of misery, life after life. You might cheers and eat and buy everyone you want to make your way to be believed that you're the best, because people will want the best, right? Well, what people know about what is the best? You've written a script for yourself, or are others writing it for you because they believe that's what people believe is the best? Only from this part, the investors, and then the story for the others. But people are not stupid nowadays. Who is stopping for social consciousness and abundance? I would like to ask. Who is promoting the noise? Is it the evil within you that makes you shout for justice, criticizing another, and following the drama that's been built to hide another drama? So when you know the potential that is being given to celebrate and love and be fair, and you live through these communities through childhood as well, or want to, or believe exists, and you deserve it, you will find it. You know it exists somewhere, and it's proven to you as time has brought you to that very meaning you knew. So yes, yes, you will love to pull all the knives away from all those who want to finish you, because you are doing that to others as well. You will wish to remove the cross from Jesus as well. And the tortures that made people run away for whatever reason, you're white or black or fat or skinny, rich or poor, man or woman, whatever reasons, with and against, and within the same, against, and within the same, against. God, it's like you have to study biology, you have to study theology, you can study all the religions as well, and mythologies that never existed. You will keep on and on. You will never do that mistake again if you knew. But we needed to expand with whom we are. Venezuela has beautiful buildings and houses, but they show the worst. Imagine I go to film only the worst from a country, like in LA. It is true that I don't know how Venezuela is. Nobody can tell me when I ask. There are two versions that I don't want to hear, also. You wouldn't wish that to any country, really. But because it happened to your country, it would mean that you give your power away. As a Venezuelan, you will love other cultures as well, and yourself as a Venezuelan. But I think people who have spoken on behalf of my country, no matter if it's against what people say, I really want to thank you. My country still has a lot to learn and has much to share. And they're good people. They're actually good people. They are the easiest people. You really look at it. But don't come to a Venezuelan with arrogance, because we are very good as well in reflecting that. For a reason. It's not children against teachers that are going to teach us a lesson against our will. It's the way we speak to one another. So you speak like that, an adult might respond to you in that way as well. Nobody tells you how to speak. Every move you're being questioned. Cannot be that the world is watching and other leaders are just limited to not bring enough to their people, because they have a lot of corrupted people as well. It's learning to handle values so bad for humanity. How could a few be stiff and noble for the world and some not? How can you dance knowing others are in misery? Or your own? How can you invest in a hall to dance waltz without bringing a greater solution with those next to you that will not praise you because they have their own to praise? It's very important for the future to take care accordingly, so it's not built for future tyrannies to be impossible to undo, as this building. You will think you're so good. People will love to taste you, just to be next to you. And again, the peace deals go back to war. When people see themselves reflected in the technological map, they will see their wrongdoings. What is of them to see by their own. Nobody needs to mediate for others unless they want to be creative. Yeah. That is the best testament I can offer as a creative. So it is to find that in others as well, the talented, to this puzzling stage. Is as well through the spirit or the psyche, the part of the mind that is gentle to one another, as transparent. I'm not entering to hack anything from you or from God or from the Merkaba or the Kabbalah, whatever you want to see that I am going to bring. Everybody's looking, what are you bringing? What do you want from me? Aren't you mature enough to be creative, your own? This will mean for the next leaders to rule with peace in order to create this together without fighting each other.